Welcome, everyone, to the It's Official podcast. Jeremy Plonk here from First Bet and Express Bet, flying the ship solo this week. We hope to have Jeff Siegel back with us soon. Here on It's Official, every Tuesday, we're here, and we're joined by the Bluegrass Stakes on a special Tuesday. Big racing card at Keeneland, makeup styles. So a lot of racing fans on social media today. Hopefully you're picking up the show, and not for the first time, but if it is your first time, we take on 5 hot topics in horse racing each and every week here on the It's Official podcast. And we're joined on Friday by a guest handicapper for the First Call podcast, where we do weekend handicapping. So Tuesday, Friday podcast here for the national racing coverage. Glad to have some new listeners and viewers along for the ride today. This week on It's Official, we're going to get things started with what we always start with, our Goosebump Award. Jeff Siegel started this back at the beginning of 2025. It's the horse last week who got us up out of our chair and got the goosebumps raised on our arms and the back of our neck. And I'll tell you what, you had to wait a long time for this one. But boy, when he delivers, Crazy Mason really delivers. Did you see the Carter? Many didn't see him coming, but he came like a freight train.
For a seam, Crazy Mason's trying to run off from the back, and Donegal momentum. They reach the top of the stretch. Full Moon Madness is still there. Maximus Meridius is starting to back out of it. Quince Brew is in front. Crazy Mason is unleashing that thunderous rally on the grandstand side. Dilger's in the clear too. It's Quince Brew who's in front. Crazy Mason catching with every stride. Dilger down towards the inside. Here comes Crazy Mason on the grandstand side to Quince Brew. Crazy Mason in time will win the Carter.
It's easy to fall in love with those Silky Sullivan kind of closers. They're not easy to follow on the old heart, though. I mean, certainly you've got to wait to the last moment here. The Goosebump Award to Crazy Mason for trainer Greg Sacco. He's gotten good. He started his career 2 for 10, 7th in last year's Tampa Bay Derby, rather nondescript. But in his last 3, he's really gotten good, rallied from last to win all 3 of them. The Carter was his best win to date, and man, is he really cooking now. Be interesting to see where they go with him. Maybe the Met Mile for Crazy Mason. He is just shooting like a cannonball out of the back of the pack and finishing those races. Manny Franco had the well-timed ride there, and of course Manny Franco continued his successful run with a couple stakes wins at Keeneland on Monday. So hats off to Manny Franco, but our Goosebump Award goes to Crazy Mason for trainer Greg Sacco, this week's award winner. We go now to our second topic this week on It's Official. Time to talk the big horse in the West, and that is journalism. He's an undeterred Derby favorite now after the Santa Anita Derby. They tried to hem him in with Barnes and company in a short 5-horse field. Once he got out, he was able to run down Beza in another strong performance. Michael McCarthy's got your Kentucky Derby favorite, knock on wood, as long as he stays healthy.
Baeza after Citizen Bull, who has the lead past the 5/8 pole. Journalism is down at the rail. Extremely compact field. There's a half-mile left to go in the Santa Anita Derby, and it's the 2-year-old champ, Citizen Bull, and Martin Garcia just in front. Westwood is now backing out of it. Baeza running a big race. He's clearly in second. Journalism is hard-ridden at the back of the field, and the trailer is Barnes. They're coming to the quarter pole, and Citizen Bull's been in front throughout. Baeza up alongside the challenge, and now Journalism is revving up a clear-cut third. They're at the top of the stretch in the Santa Anita Derby, and here's Baeza. Baeza forges past Citizen Bull, and Journalism is kicking into high gear. Journalism and Baeza in a Santa Derby showdown. It is Journalism just in front of Baeza. Write this down.
So there were some anxious moments for Journalism. Of course, they tried to keep him pinned in. He was able to get out. Juan Hernandez kind of riding defensively with Barnes, trying to keep Journalism in. Umberto Rispoli had to struggle. Once he got the horse into the clear, though, he kind of got that big locomotive going, and he was able to run down and determine Beza in here. Beza was the X factor in the race. We hadn't seen him in a stakes at Santa Anita. He was coming off a nice maiden win last time out. Tremendously well-bred son of Mackenzie. He's out of the Maripuca, of course. 2 years ago, she had the Kentucky Derby winner Mage representing, and last year it was the Belmont winner Dornick. So Beza, a really talented horse. He outran expectations. I thought he'd be pretty good, but he ran an outstanding race in the Santa Anita Derby. We'll see if it's enough to get him into the Kentucky Derby. Journalism, we know, is going to the Derby as the favorite. Michael McCarthy, trainee by Curlin out of Mopatism. Good mare, really outstanding sire, of course, Curlin. All coming together right now. Journalism looks to be just continuing to develop and peak. And while this effort may not have been as flashy as his win in the San Felipe, there was a lot more education gained in this race, and at 1.125 miles, the grind to finish it off, I thought it was really good. Came home quick enough in the end. I thought about 38 flat, 37-4 for him over the last 3 furlongs. Not bad at all for 1.125 miles. And given the situation that the track wasn't super fast at Santa Anita on Saturday, good effort from Journalism, really sets him up towards the first Saturday in May. So he's the Derby favorite. He's undeterred after being kind of shoved around a little bit during the running of the race. And that's good because you think about Journalism, he's running a 5-horse field in the San Felipe, 5-horse field in the Los Alfuturity, 5-horse field here in the Santa Anita Derby. That's 15 rivals. He's going to face 9 or 12 rivals, actually, in when he's one of them. So he's going to face 19 rivals in the Kentucky Derby when he's only faced 12 in his last 3. He does have a win in a 10-horse field in his maiden victory, coming from off the pace. So that's a little bit of experience in the bigger fields, but he got some education in this one. Journalism, undeterred Derby favorite, headed to Louisville. Now, as for Baffert, he finished last and next to last in the Santa Anita Derby. And when you look at Barnes and kind of the way he's unraveled a little bit in the mornings, and then in this race running dead last, and Citizen Bull going to the front in the Santa Anita Derby, but having nothing when the running counted, he faded to finish 4th. When's the last time Baffert finished 4th and 5th? The final 2 positions in a race, in a stakes race like that. Unbelievably poor performance by his runners in the Santa Anita Derby. That said, we bring up topic 3 on It's Official, and Baffert did get a little bingo. It happened with Rodriguez in the Wood Memorial. Not the horse you would necessarily suspect. I mean, Baffert's been on the road a bunch this season. He sent Gaming and Cornucopian to Oaklawn to no avail. He sent Mattigat Road to Oaklawn and to Gulfstream Park to no avail. The Santa Anita Derby, he finished last and next to last that we just talked about. But the one horse who got him on the beam was Rodriguez with a nice front-running performance under Mike Smith. Let's go back to the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct with Chris Griffith on the mic.
Rules and Carmouche looking for a way through. Rodriguez turns it for home and has the lead. It's Rodriguez trying to open up, is doing just that. Rodriguez has now taken 3, almost 4 out of the field. Grande in the center of the racetrack is chased all the time here by Captain Cook. It is Rodriguez. Rodriguez with a 16th left to go. Rodriguez is opening up. It's a front-running score. The 100th running goes to Rodriguez. Mike Smith win it.
Top 2 finishers there, Rodriguez and Grande, headed towards the Kentucky Derby, to be sure, for Bob Baffert and for Todd Pletcher. Rodriguez, did he wake up and have a light bulb moment, or did he just catch the right field in the right pace scenario? That'll be the big question. He was third, beaten 11 lengths in the San Felipe when not able to set the pace that day, deferring to Barnes on the front end. 2 starts back in the Bob Lewis, he deferred on the front end to Citizen Bull. They just let him go on the front end with the blinkers off, interestingly enough, and he went wire to wire. Will he be the speed of the Kentucky Derby? Perhaps. A lot of the front runners in the Derby preps have kind of gone by the wayside, and we've seen some meltdown winners. Think of Sandman coming from well off the pace in the Arkansas Derby. Tistastic from well off the pace to win the Louisiana Derby. Sovereignty with his closing finishes down at Gulfstream Park. Tappan Street came from off the pace. So there isn't a ton of just blinding speed in this year's Kentucky Derby field. So perhaps it will be Rodriguez, the one who's going to try to set the tempo. He certainly did on Saturday in a good-looking performance. Came home fast. This is one of the faster Wood Memorials we've seen in recent years. So a really good effort from Rodriguez. You can't knock it. The question is, does he need it that way? Does he need things kind of handed to him on the front end in order to be successful? Grande ran better than I expected in here. He was stretching, or he was stepping up in class. He had run 1.125 miles already in Allowance Company down in Florida, but this son of Curlin ran a really good race, first time in Stakes Company. So Grande, one to watch moving towards the Kentucky Derby. Just 3 career starts, January 11th, February 27th, and now this race in the Wood Memorial on April the 5th. So he's kind of on the fast track, getting the late start to his 3-year-old season, January 11th. He's another one by Curlin. Plenty of pedigree there for Grande. A good effort for him in the Aqueduct feature in the Wood Memorial. As for the horse I liked in there, Captain Cook, he regressed, did not run as well here in the Wood Memorial as he did in the Withers Stakes, but on time wise, he probably ran as well as he ran that day. 51 and change in the Withers. It was a much slower racetrack on Withers Day, though. I think Captain Cook took a little step back. He was tired late at the end of this race. A little bit different kind of pace scenario, and he didn't have the same kind of finish in here. He's a nice horse. Maybe they look towards the Belmont Stakes with him, but he's probably not getting into the Kentucky Derby on any points now. So Captain Cook maybe rethinks what they want to do in terms of the Triple Crown. Remember, 1.25 miles for the Belmont Stakes when they run it up at Saratoga. So maybe he heads to the Spa. But as for Derby Dreams, I don't think we're going to see Captain Cook in there now. But Rodriguez Grande out of the Wood Memorial horses that you want to look forward to towards the Kentucky Derby. In other news, on the Triple Crown Trail last week, the UAE Derby was run in Dubai. They got 2 qualifiers, top 2 spots there, got automatic bids into the Kentucky Derby. Admire Daytona from Japan in the European Heart of Honor. Maybe the speed comes from the Europeans and the Japanese in this spot, coming from the UAE. Admire Daytona went wire to wire in the UAE Derby, so maybe that's a little bit of speed. And you say, the foreign horses aren't as fast as our American horses. We've seen some international runners make the lead in the Kentucky Derby a few times in the last couple of years. So I would not be surprised if they're aggressive and bring Admire Daytona over here and go to the front in the Kentucky Derby. Maybe that's a little bit of pace pressure coming up for Rodriguez. Let's turn our attention to Dubai now on topic 4. Hit Show got some star-studded ratings in winning in Dubai. Look, he's just been an okay horse in the United States. Now 9 for 18 lifetime. He's a bit of an all-or-nothing sort Hit Show. He's got only 1 second and 1 third-place finish behind those 9 victories. He disappointed in the Santa Anita Handicap to the point where he said, why are they going to Dubai? But there wasn't much in this year's Dubai World Cup beyond Forever Young, the impressive winner of the Saudi Cup. But as it turned out, we saw Romantic Warrior bounce out of that Saudi Cup performance and get beat earlier on the card in Dubai. And the same thing happened to Forever Young. He bounced, and the benefactor was Hit Show, flying late to nab Mixto.
And it is Mixto who goes up to challenge Walk of Stars. Forever Young has a mighty task ahead of him. Wilson Tesoro goes with him in 3rd and 4th. Hit Show running on from the back, but it's Mixto who hits the lead here with 150 metres left to go. Mixto for Doug O'Neill and Frankie Dettori. Hit Show out when it's all too late. Look at Hit Show right over the top. Hit Show for Florence Giroux and Brad Cox in the Dubai World Cup. Wins in spectacular fashion. Mixto 2nd over. 3rd Forever Young. 4th Il Miracolo from Walk of Stars.
Hit Show gets his career-defining win. Trainer Brad Cox with the victory there. Florent Giroux went overseas for the mount, then took home the big prize. Now, what will they do with Hit Show the rest of the way? Well, it'll be figure out how to get yourself to the Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar in the fall. Plenty of options in the handicap ranks, but they'll give him some time now. Again, this horse was pretty hard race going through the early part of the season this year, so he's going to get some time off. Maybe get 1 run. I would say Pacific Classic and then go towards the Breeders' Cup Classic. Go to Del Mar, try the Pacific Classic. They're not afraid to travel with him. They went to Santa Anita for the big cap after all, so I would expect to see Hit Show maybe in the Pacific Classic and then Breeders' Cup Classic maybe as one of the top contenders. We'll see. This race certainly better than anything he's ever run in the past. He was pretty good at the end of the year in the fall last year in the Clark Handicap, so maybe he's just getting better, and that Santa Anita race was an anomaly. But Hit Show, Mixto, 2 horses that we're going to see probably back in California later this year. We wrap things up with our Stars of Tomorrow segment each and every week. We talked about journalism, how he was one of our Stars of Tomorrow earlier last year. Well, we've got a 2-year-old at Keeneland. Keeneland meet opened up on Sunday, and anytime you talk 2-year-olds in Lexington, you're talking about trainer Wesley Ward. He's got one who may be headed the Royal Ascot next, an impressive race 1 winner on Monday, 2-year-old filly. Her name, Pinky Finger.
In 3rd, Happy Boy now moves by that one and takes 3rd against the rail. Still well back of the leader, though. Barstool moves up on the outside to challenge for 3rd and for 2nd. All of this well behind Pinky Finger as Joel Rosario checks back over his shoulder twice, 3 times, and sees the field disappear behind him as Pinky Finger, the filly, scores on debut. Happy Boy was up for 2nd, and then it was Barstool home 3rd, close for 4th.
That's about as easy as you can win a 4.5 furlong race wrapped up. And so maybe she'll head to Royal Ascot and try the turf. Now, this race obviously on the dirt, but she had been working on the turf down at Palm Meadows over the course of the spring. So don't be surprised if this daughter of Army Mule for Wesley Ward isn't one that we see on the international stage soon. Also on that Monday card at Keeneland, another Star of Tomorrow contender, Unwavering Trust for Brad Cox. Very impressive second start maiden special weight winner. Keep an eye on that one, Unwavering Trust, moving forward. Let's review the topics this week on It's Official, the Goosebump Award. It was Crazy Mason for his third straight last the first win, coming in the Carter handicap from the clouds for Greg Sacco. Our undeterred Derby favorite Journalism took some bumping, took some heat, and took the victory in the Santa Anita Derby as he heads to Louisville for Michael McCarthy as the one to beat in the Run for the Roses. Rodriguez played bingo and got the center square for Bob Baffert in the Wood Memorial after a disappointing run in recent weeks for the Baffert trainees around the country and at home. It was Rodriguez going wire to wire to win the Wood Memorial, punching his ticket to Louisville, and maybe 3 Bafferts might still make the cast for the Run for the Roses. Topic 4 was Hit Show, getting a ratings bonanza in Dubai. Rallying winner of the Dubai World Cup, got his 9th win from 18 career starts for trainer Brad Cox and knocked off Forever Young, who bounced disappointingly out of a big win in the Saudi Cup. And our Star of Tomorrow, Pink Finger, the first 2-year-old winner in the meet for trainer Wesley Ward, son or daughter of Army Mule, flew home on Monday at Keeneland. Those 5 topics are now official because my partner Jeff Siegel and I say so. That's how we play the game. Hope to have Jeff back with us soon. We've got a lot cooking this time of year, so be sure to join us on Friday for our handicapping podcast. We'll have the First Call podcast on Friday as we handicap weekend stakes races. A lot going on. A big weekend at Keeneland to come back again. Good racing in Maryland this weekend. We've got a lot of good action around the country, so be sure to tune in for that podcast on Friday, First Call. On behalf of everybody with First Bet and Express Bet, my partner Jeff Siegel, I'm Jeremy Plonk. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk